Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Let me share my screen. Okay, let's see. Let's see, where are we? Okay. So here, chat. Hide this over here. Okay. All right. Let's see. Yeah. So we are right over here. So this is apparently this is the last last day that we are meeting. Well, for the undergrads, apparently, I think this is the last day, and then we'll meet again on Thursday for the graduate folks. Undergrads are welcome to come. We'll keep meeting for the next couple weeks, but I believe the semester ends for undergrads this week. So but the grads and myself will be meeting if you wanna come. We will review. We'll go over the final exam today, which is going to be on the 16th. Yeah, the 16th. And then that will be it. The project is due next Tuesday. And the TAs will be posting soon a spreadsheet where you can register for a demo, so that right after you submit the project on the 14th, you can then demo your project, and the TAs will ask you questions about that project. They will go through all the requirements in the requirements document, and they will ask you to demonstrate that you have met all the requirements. They'll have a checklist asking, show me your users, show me your domain objects, show me that you can log in, register, that you have a profile page that you can search, that you have a result page, that you have a details page, that you have a one-to-many relationship between users and domain objects, and so on and so forth. Basically, they'll go through the requirements document with you, asking you to demonstrate that you have achieved those requirements. And then they might even be able to give you a grade right on the spot. The presentation shouldn't be more than a half hour. It should be a very informal presentation. You don't have to create any slides or anything fancy. You just have to run your application and demonstrate navigating here and there to demonstrate that you have met the requirements. Yeah, it shouldn't take you more than half an hour. The TAs are going to publish the spreadsheet soon, I think maybe tomorrow, and it'll be first come first serve. It should be anywhere between presenting either it's due on Tuesday, next Tuesday the 14th, presenting Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So any one of those days, right? Again, there'll be time slots that you can put in your group name or group number. I see that not everybody has joined a group yet. You need to join a group. Otherwise, we can't give you a grade, and you can't even register for presenting your projects to the TA. So definitely, please. I see a lot of folks haven't yet joined a group. Make sure that you do join the group. If you had to change the group, then go ahead, leave whatever group you were in, and then join the group that you're in, that you're actually in, and then register for the spreadsheet so that you can present next week. Okay. Today I'm going to go over what's going to be on the final exam, on the exam number 2. But in general, it's going to contain all the material from the first half of the semester, the second half of the semester. So you should still expect a few questions on HTML, CSS, JavaScript, whatnot, right? But mostly it's going to be much heavier on the React side, a navigation with React Router DOM, with Redux, okay, Node.js, MongoDB. So I would say 2/3 of the exam will be on the second half of the semester. But you should also expect a few things from the first half of the semester. Okay, so that's in general. It'll take about 2 hours the exam, and it's pretty much the same. It's exactly the same format as the previous exam. Lots of fill in the blanks, check multiple choice, and a lot of puzzles, right? Where you're asked, what happens if you click here twice, you click here a third time, what does this label say, right? So you need to follow along the logic of the piece of code that we might give you, right? And understands what the flow is, especially in if there's a reducer involved, or there's a hook involved, right? Or there's a fetch involved, right? You need to follow along and identify what is the output. You should normally assume that there are no no errors in the code. It's not like we're trying to fool you into creating an error and it just doesn't work, right? Or some misspelling of the code. We're not gonna. We might give you in multiple choices where we will give you 5 options, of which one is absolutely the correct one. The other ones might be close to it, but clearly they're wrong. They're clearly wrong, not because we misspelled something, but it's just not the correct syntax, not the correct technique or whatnot, right? So we're not trying to fool you, and it's more conceptual. So yeah, that's in general. In general, the what's going to happen for the next couple of weeks. Yeah. So any general questions? Let's see. Professor, can we have our exam in the morning instead of 7 p.m.? In the morning. So if you can't make it on Tuesday, so on Tuesday it'll be synchronous. We'll all meet on Tuesday. But if you can't make it on Tuesday, let me know, and then we can schedule something afterwards. I wouldn't want the exam to go out before before the day. So if you wanna do it the next, on Wednesday, we can definitely schedule something for those folks. A question about the search page requirements for the project. Are we supposed to connect to an external API or local URL? Yes. Yeah, no, definitely. You'll need to. One of the requirements is that you use a third-party API, right? Like I demonstrated last week with OMDB, where you can search for movies, right? And then search for movies and whatnot.
Sorry to cut you off, but in the requirements, it says, like, for instance, if you choose movies as your domain objects, the users may be able to search for movies. I thought that was meaning like local database. Is that like for external API? Because it's a domain objects.
Yeah. So the third-party API doesn't have to necessarily be for your particular domain. So if your domain is movies, your API could be searching for weather, right? But there should be some kind of use of a third-party API as part of your project. And now, ideally, it would be an API that has something to do with the domain that you chose. But if for some reason you can absolutely not find anything for that particular domain, then use something else.
Okay, thank you.
The 16th is next Thursday. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, the exam is Thursday. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. Yeah, the Tuesday is the due date of the project. I'm sorry. Yes, correct. But I'm doing the review today because the semester for the undergrads ends a little earlier than the graduate folks. So I'm doing the exam review today for both undergrads and grads. Since today's the last opportunity that I have with the undergrads. Although we will keep meeting with the graduates this upcoming Thursday as well. And the undergrads are welcome to come, but they're not required to come after today. Anything else? Any other general questions? Does many-to-many relationship between data models include the relationship between data, between data from remote API. Not quite sure what you mean. Many means that that you have in your own database, you have either a collection that has documents that are related to other documents in some other collection, right? So one document in one of the collections is related to many documents in another collection, and one of those documents in the other collection is related to many documents in the original collection, right? Whether it's whether it's remote, whether you grab the data and you copy the data somewhat locally on your machine, that's something different. That's how you cache the data locally on your machine. So if we have a domain, for example, movies, from the third-party API and a user domain created by ourselves, can they count? Wait, if we have a domain, for example, movies, from a third-party API and a user domain created by ourselves, can that count? Many. So the fact that it's remote or not remote has nothing to do with the. So those are two separate things, right? Whether the data it lives outside in a third-party API, that data or some of it, right? So for instance, say I like a movie, right? I like a movie. Like is a many, right? Where one user can like many movies, but the same movie can be liked by many users, right? So the like is a many relationship between user and movie. Now, movie, the data that you got for the movie, whether you entered it locally, somebody actually typed in using your database, right, to store data about a movie, or whether you fetch that movie information from a remote server, that's a separate issue, right? What I'm talking about, many, has to do whether one record is associated to many other records, and those one record on the other side is also related to many records over here, right? Where the data comes from, whether it's from the remote or not, that's a separate issue. Okay. Also, this opens up another question. When you say if we have a domain, for example, movies from a third-party API, so I think what you mean is that you have either a table or a collection called movies in your local database, right? Of which you are populating with data from a third-party API, right? So for instance, if I want to say that Jose likes Titanic, right? The movie Titanic, probably you've listed it from a you've made a query. It went out. Movies about James Cameron. You're displaying all the movies from James Cameron. Those movies don't exist in your database, right? Because you just went out to a third-party API. You just retrieved them. You're displaying them. But now, when you say, I'm logged in as Jose, and I say I like Titanic, now you need to store that somewhere in the database, right? So you have to create a relationship between the user and a movie called Titanic, and the only place you can store that is in your database, right? So that means that you need a record for Jose, you need a record for movie, right? And you need a record for like or likes that says that this user likes that movie. Okay. Now in both cases, the likes has two keys, two references to a user pointing to the user who likes that movie. Both of them are foreign keys, right? The ID of the user likes the ID of the movie. Okay. But that ID is stored or is referencing a record that lives in your database, which has a copy or a small copy or cache information about something that's stored in a separate database, right? And the reason you need to make a copy is because you have to create that relationship, right? And it doesn't mean that you need to copy all the data from the remote database into your database, right? You only need to copy the ones where you need to maintain a relationship, right? Where, say, people add ratings up, thumbs up, thumbs down, likes, dislikes, favorite with a little heart, or people write reviews about that particular movie, right? All that information needs to live in your local database, right? And so you need to make those relationships in your database. Okay, wait a minute. So the user posts reviews to restaurant is a many-to-many relationship. So a user posts a review to a restaurant. Yes, that's many-to-many because one user can post many reviews. I'm sorry, can post reviews to many restaurants. Yep, and then one restaurant can be reviewed by many users. That's a many-to-many. Perfect. Yes. Hi, Professor. I'm wondering if it's possible to make quiz 7 available again. Yes, I'll make the quizzes available. Although most students had taken the quiz, so but I believe there's a small number of students that did not get to take the quiz. So yeah, just ping me and I'll make the quiz available for you. Got it. Thanks. Can I keep like as a property under user record instead of having a separate entity? Okay, so yeah, so for implementing, yeah, let me actually, that's a good segue. That's a really good segue here. I'll go blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So if you are using, okay. So here's the example. Here's the question. I think Queen Sha Meng asked, right? Can I keep like as a property under user record instead of having a separate entity? Yep, exactly. So this is the question is this over here. I think this will answer your question hopefully. So say you have this, right? And I have users. And these are movies, and this is likes. Okay, so this is Alice, Bob, and oh, I shouldn't do that. Just user. Right, so these are various users that like different movies. And so this is movie. So there's a couple ways to implement it if you're using non-relational databases like Mongo. And so this is student 1, 2, and student 3, and student 3. I mean user 3. And this is movie 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So this is one way to implement it, right? Where you have a separate collection that has a reference to the user and a reference to the movie, saying that these two users, user 1 and 2, both like movie 1. Okay, that's one way to represent it. Okay. Another alternative way to represent it is as follows. Right. So this is again, this is users. And this is user 1, user 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And these are the movies that they liked or likes, right? And so this would be movie, right? And like that. Okay, and these would be the movies. And these are the users, and this is movie 1, movie 2, movie 3, and movie 4. And so, but then you should be able to, oops, sorry. And these are the liked by, right? Liked by, and this would be user 1, right? And this is user 2, user 3, and user 4. So like somebody was asking, right? There's two ways of implementing the likes. If you're using Mongo, you either use the classical way. The classical way is to have a separate collection, right, or a separate table, right? If this were SQL, this is what you would do. You would have a separate table, Or if you're using Mongo, you would have a separate collection. And then having these IDs, the ID of user 1, the ID of user 2, ID of user 3, and then the movies that they like. Okay, that is a classical way of implementing. And you can do this in Mongo, or you can do this in relational databases like MySQL or Postgre. Okay, or in Mongo, you have this alternative way of doing it, is that the user can have a field called likes, which is an array. And the array contains all the movies this user likes, right? User likes movie 1, user 2 also likes movie 1, user 3 likes movie 3s and 4, and movie 4 doesn't like any movies, right? He's very sad. But the challenge for this, though, is that because it's a many-to-many, you should be able to ask the question, what are the movies that user 3 likes? Oh, then you would say movie user 3 likes movies 3 and 4. Well, that means that if this is a many-to-many, if you go on the movie side, you should be able to answer the question, who likes movie 3? And you should be able to answer, user 3 likes movie 3. And same thing if you ask movie 4, right? Who likes movie 4? User 3 likes movie 4. Okay, so now you have this redundancy of having to maintain two sides of the many-to-many, right? On the side of the users and on the side of the movies, which makes it more challenging. Which it's not impossible, right? Definitely, it's one option, and definitely Mongo allows you to do this. In SQL, you can't do this at all, right? Because in SQL, you don't have these arrays, right? But in the Mongo, you definitely have that option, and it's up to you if you want to do it that way. Can I access the Mongo quiz icon again? Yes, please ping me separately, and I'll make that available. Can we put the privacy policy at the bottom of the homepage? Can we put the privacy policy at the home? I would off of the homepage make a link that where you prominent link that you can click on the privacy policy and you can navigate and view it there. So yeah, don't hide it. Put it somewhere where you can reach it. For the movie example, after we store the likes in the local database, do we have to display the like in the corresponding movie details pane? Yes, you do. Yes, actually, also in the results page too, right? If you say you went to, in the results page, it'd be nice, right? If you have I guess it's not required. It's not required. No, never mind. But yeah, if you go to the details page, right, and you have previously liked a movie, and I search for it, right, and I navigate to that movie, which I had previously liked, I should see the fact that I already have liked this movie. So it should show the latest state for that movie, which I have added state for earlier. There are two assignments in the privacy part. Some questions are the same. Are we supposed to submit two documents separately or just combine them into one document? Wait, there are two assignments in the privacy part of the project. Some questions, really? I didn't know that the same questions are the same. Are we supposed to submit two documents?
Yeah, Professor, if you check the module, so there are two assignments related to
I didn't know they had the same content though. Is that in the assignments?
I think it's under the module. Yes.
Are these it?
I think the ethics, yes, week 12.
Slides, assignment.
I don't know. I downloaded two, so there are two assignments.
Oh, maybe you have different versions of the same assignment. Oh, there's 1, 2. Oh, yeah, no, graduate folks have 2, and undergrad only have 1. Assignment 2. So you're saying that this is different? or this is the same? Briefly describe blah, 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 blah. Your building, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, some of the questions are the same. So I don't know, like.
So let me open that. And let me open that. Yeah, no, I would submit this separately. And if it's the same content, just use the same content from the previous one and just paste it in the second one, but submit them separately.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the code review, the final exam review. All right. Yeah. So let's take a look at this document. I believe. Can everybody see this document? You can. It is published, right? So you should be able to see it. Ooh, that should not be published. Okay. All right. Yeah. Can everybody see the final exam review?
Professor, I think graduate students cannot see it, but I can see your screen right now. So.
Why can't you see it? It's 5610, and week 15 is published, and the exam review is available. And 4550, same thing. It's published, and the exam review. So you can't see it?
No, not right now. Maybe.
Okay, I'm just gonna share it then. Copy.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'll paste it on the chat. Oh, it says locked until December 12th. Really? Okay. Oh wait. Everyone. Okay, there's a link. I pasted the link on the chat. Can you see if you can access it? All right, awesome. All right, yeah. So yeah. There's no Angular in the exam. Okay. So no Angular. So I'm just gonna comment that out. I used to use Angular instead of React. Okay. All right, so let's talk about React.js. So React.js, so definitely, there's going to be routing, obviously, routing. There's going to be Redux, right? Also, just being able to declare functions as components, right? In particular, being able to declare parameters as or wait a minute, using object destructors to pass parameters, right? So when you say your component, your const, my component, right? And we use the syntax. When we use this syntax where we have a curly bracket here, and you have parameter 1, parameter 2, right? So this notation of using curly brackets as destructors to extract parameters from the object that we're passing, right? And understand that that maps to when you say my component, right? And then you say param1, this is value 1, right? And when you say param2 equal value 2. So make sure that you understand that syntax, right? This param1 maps this, and param2 maps that, right? So yes, you should be familiar with that. Definitely some some of the more common uses of the hooks. So use state. Definitely use state, where you declare some state variable, right? And then you have a set state variable, right? So remember how to use that, and then being able to initialize this either as an object or as an array, depending on what this is, right? So make sure you understand how that works. Obviously, and make sure that you understand use effect, right? Where you can provide a function that initializes, right? And this is the initializing function, right? We call the function, okay? Make sure you understand that. Make sure you have event handling, right? That where you can declare some event handler, right? That and you declare a button or something where you have an on click, right? That you can call the event handler, like that, right? Click me, okay? But also event handling with no arguments, right? But also make sure that you understand calling event handlers with arguments. So for instance, if this takes an argument, right? Then careful, this is a syntax error. Argument, right? That's a no-no. You would not do that, right? Instead, so let's say no-no. So I'm going to say format text and strike through, because that's going to get you into an infinite loop. Okay, so instead, you have to remember that you need to put it inside of a closure, right? Inside of a function that calls that other function. Otherwise, this will be evaluated immediately, right? When the button gets rendered, it will automatically immediately call event handler. The event handler will cause the component to re-render, and the re-rendering will re-render this button. The button will call the function again, so it'll get into an infinite loop. So instead, you do it this way. All right, so careful with that. And make sure that you know how to update state variables, right? So if you say updating local state variables, right? So if you declare const say user, right? And you have a set user, right? So make sure that you understand how to update each one of the fields. For instance, if you say use state, where you declare an empty object for a user, maybe it's initialized, maybe it has a username, Bob, and has a first name, Bob, whatever, right? And Bob. And then later on, you have an input field where you have an on change, right? And the on change has an event, right? An input field for each one of each one of the things that you can change about the user, right? Then you should be able to understand that you do set user. You can copy the original user and then override whatever fields, right? So this is you can update the username, right, with the event.target .value, right? So remember that syntax. Let me see. Close that, and then value is equal user.username, right? Like that. And so you would have, right, if you have another field that you want to first name, then this would be first name, and value, blah, blah, first name. Okay. So yeah, so make sure that you understand that syntax. Okay. Make sure that in Redux, you understand the dispatcher, right? Where you can say, use dispatch, right? And you can grab the dispatch here, right? Const dispatch. And then if you're handling a button handler, right? You can say const event handler, where you then notify dispatcher, right? We say dispatch, where you have the type of the action type, right? And then any data that you pass along, right? Some data, or whatever. Okay, so make sure that you understand that this is part of the event handler, that you then notify the dispatcher. Also, make sure you understand the dispatch, how it works when it's a remote API, right? That if you do a const, initialization function, right? That you maybe are calling a fetch. Oops. You're calling a fetch out to a URL, some URL, right? When it comes back, remember that you have to first parse the JSON, but then when the actual data comes, right? Here's where you can use the dispatch, right, to pass the data to the reducer, right? So some action, and then pass the data here. Okay, right. So just understand the order of things that happen, right? So if it's a third-party API, or you're even your own API, right? Make sure that understand that the dispatch occurs after the fetch. Okay. Redux. Did we? Yeah, we did select. Obviously, make sure that so Redux is dispatch. This is the dispatch hook. So let's put this under dispatch hook, and let me make sure that you have the select what do you call it? The reducer selector, right? That you can read data from the selector, from the reducer, by using const some value from reducer, or value, by saying use selector, and then here you can grab things from the state, right, and then return something in the state, some value, right, that I guess this needs to be inside a curly bracket, right, and then this data, you can then use it within your UI, right? Each one value from reducer, right? So make sure that you understand how selectors work, you know how this dispatcher works, okay? Also, make sure that you understand that if you have multiple reducers, right? If you have just one reducer, then there's just one state, right? There's nothing to do there. That's trivial. The question happens, the concern is when you have multiple reducers, right? So if you have multiple reducers, right, where you import multiple reducers, so reducer one, import R1 from, reducers R1, okay? And maybe say dot slash, right? And then you have multiple reducers, so R1, R2, R3, right? That you have to combine them, right, into a master reducer. You would say, const reducer. You can combine reducers, right, into a single reducer by listing them here, right? And then you can create the store with create store by the reducer, right? Then in the this is combining reducers. So that later on, right? I mean, you provide this to the provider, but then when you do the select, right? This state now, the state has these name values, right? So this would be state. This would be state dot R1, right? Now the values are now like a substate. So R1, R2, R3 are now substate. Each one generated by a separate reducer. Right? So now you have multiple substates on there. So if you have only one reducer, then you can grab data right off of the single state. But if you have multiple reducers, right, they're being combined, each one with its own namespace. So you have to remember that, right? You have to grab it from the right namespace. Okay? Also, when you combine reducers, when combining reducers, all reducers are invoked. All reducers are invoked. Until one of them. Well, no, they're all invoked. So if you have multiple reducers, where you have const R1. You have your state, you have your action, right? Oops, like that, right? And then separate file, you have R2, same thing. So let me just copy that. Right. So if you have multiple reducers, and you have for R1, R2, R3, right? And here you have a state. Action that's type that, right? And here you have I don't know, case action 1, and then here you do return whatever, I don't know, whatever, state 1. This is case action 2, and then you return states 2, state 1, state 2. So if you have that, you have to be careful because that happens across all reducers, right? Okay, they are all invoked. Right? R1 is invoked, R2 is invoked, and the same action gets passed to all the reducers. See which one returns something, right? So these names of these actions need to be unique, right? So this would have to be action A and action B, right? And so this would return state A, state B, and this would be action X and action Y, right? And this is state X and Y, right? So they're all invoked, and whatever you return, right, that gets added to the store, and then is available, through the state in the R1, R2, R3. Okay, right. So these are unique action types. Also, it's a good practice to always make sure that you have a default, right, where you return the state, this state that gets passed in, right? So this should always be your last default state here. There we go. Oops. There we go. And like that. Oops. It's a good best practice, right? To always have a default. Okay. Unique action. All of this are invoked. What else? Dispatch hook, reducer selector, combining reducers. Okay. So that means, right? Say this the reducers are combined the very first time, right? And then you provide this store. So you go, provider, store equals store, right? Now, no event has happened yet. No event has happened yet. So it's not like I invoked this with an action and whatnot, right? These functions are invoked anyway the very first time, even if you haven't generated an event. That means that all the R1s, R2s, R3s are going to get the default. Whatever this returns, whatever this function returns, that's going to be the default value of the state. Okay. So this R1 here, or R2 or R3, and whatever value I'm grabbing, that value is going to have a default value, right, from these being invoked at boot time, right? Even if I haven't clicked on anything just yet, right? That's very important. Sure, there's a question on that in the exam. About what is the default values of states even before any actions have occurred. Redux. Okay, routing, right? Make sure that now in the routing, you can either you use the old version 5 or earlier, or whether you use version 6 and later, either syntax is fine. I'll probably just focus on the current syntax, the one that we've covered most of the course, where we import the browser router, right, and that we also import the routes, route and link, right, from React router. Okay. Now there is a syntax where you can rename these to refer to them locally with a local identifier instead of using the original name, right? Where you can rename and use the as router like that. So now locally in the local code, you can now refer to as router. This is because there's some legacy or some story behind this library. This library, when it originally came out, the only router that there was only one router, right? It was the browser router. It was the only router. So there was no point in giving it a specific name like browser router. It was the only router. So all the most examples that you find from way back when, they use router. But now there is no router exported by a React router, right? So people scratch their heads, says, well, what router is this? Okay, so to understand, now in the newer version, now because there are more than one router, there's a router for that uses the hash There's a router which is just using without the hash. There's one for native applications that use that there's no DOM, right? There's no browser at all. So now they have specific names, like browser router, hash router. So folks that want to use the old syntax, all the old examples, they can just rename the local reference by using the keyword as. So I'm just gonna highlight it there. And once you declare the router, you can declare the route as a path, and that path can either be a string. Okay, it could be a string where you say, path to component, right? And the component can be either added down below here, my component, like that, right? An alternative option, which we haven't used much in this class, or at all actually, is that you can declare your component here, but we haven't used this much, right? So you can give it the name, my component, right? And this allows you to just use a slash like that. Okay. There's a newer syntax that uses this, where this is not a string, but this is a curly bracket. This is element. And now this is an object like that, my component. The problem with this one here is that you can't pass any arguments, any parameters to my component, whereas this one, right, because you can use the tags here, you can pass param1, value 1 like that. Okay, whereas this one you can't. So this is also another option. Here too, you can pass parameters, right? Param, value. Definitely we looked at parameters, right? Where you say, where you can in your strings, right? You say path to component with some parameters, or arguments. No, I'll say parameters. Param1, comma, param2, right? And right with the rest of the stuff here, I'm not gonna do that. Okay. And then later on in the component, instead of my component, you can then use the params, the use params hook, const params, the use params, right, to extract any values that you want, right? So you can say, p1 is params.param1, and these match, right? That and that match, have to match. So this is const p2, params.param1, param2. Okay. Let's see. There's a question on the chat. Does route always have to be wrapped in routes? So it needs to be wrapped in router. In the new version 6, I believe, of React Router, this is mapped. This needs to be inside of routes. But that's new. Before too, but it was optional. You didn't have to, and you weren't penalized. Like, it's not like compile if you didn't put it inside of routes. Although it is a good practice to put them inside of routes. Yeah, but yeah, you won't. I'm not going to enforce that in the example. Yeah, so this is how you would read parameters from the path. Okay, and then you can pass the way you pass parameters, right, is that This is div is to the link, right? And the link would be that you want to reference this here, right? So if you copy that, then this would be an expression, and then a backtick, right? And where you then fill in the values, the actual values that you want to pass to parameters, right? Click me. And then these values would be some variable, some local variable, right? So this is hash, and then whatever const p2 value, hello, and p1 value is goodbye. Hello, you say goodbye. And then you can embed these values as part of the expression. So you're passing those values, and so these values would be then referenced here, okay, which we can then retrieve here as a map. Okay. Notice that alternative, I can use the alternative syntax, which is params and then square brackets, right? And that would be params 1. Right, so that's an alternative syntax of using square brackets instead of the dot notation, right? The square brackets are more versatile because it's a string, and that string can be dynamic, it can be generated on the fly. Instead, the dot notation, right, you would get an exception if that parameter doesn't exist, right? So this is more versatile, but folks use it less. Dispatch code, blah, blah, blah. Let's see, what else? I think that's it. Node. Let's see. Just be familiar with Express, right? Express that you want to be able to declare load Express. Well, we require Express, right? And then you create an app from that. So be familiar with that. And then creating a listener, listen at port 3000, right? And then in here, you require any of your services or any web APIs that you're creating yourself. My service, usually in a local file, right? And then you pass a reference of the Express library, so that in the service you can then use the app, that instance, to declare gets and posts and puts and deletes, right? And so sometimes these are referred to as controllers, right? The where you declare your .gets, your .post, your .put, right? So those are usually sometimes referred to as controllers or services. So yeah, you require the controller. Here, the same thing. You require your service, right? And then in the service, right, you declare you export a function that takes as argument a reference to the app, right? And then you can declare any number of event handlers, right, that are listening for incoming HTTP requests, right, that are mapped to a particular endpoint URL, and then mapped to a function that's going to handle that incoming request, right? So for instance, it could be, for instance, an example where you say .get, meaning I'm listening for an incoming HTTP get, mapped to some path, right? And then you, a particular function is going to handle that event. All functions receive request response. They can either send a string. They can respond with an object JSON, Usually, if it's an object, we use JSON, not send. And const blah 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 blah. AB. Yeah, no, this was just pointing out that these variables don't have to be request, comma, response, REQ, comma, RES. You know, it could be that in the exam I use other variables, A, B, but they do the same exact thing as request response, right? So it's not a reserved word. Also, make sure that to understand that in a RESTful service in REST, we use get to retrieve for reading data, post for creating new data, put for updating data, and delete for removing data. Right. So make sure, right, that you understand that the nomenclature or the convention is that we use different verbs for different purposes. Right. Also, make sure that that we can encode the values as part of the path, right? And which we did for the routing. That's for navigating on the client, right? Where we can have routes. What happened to routes? Yeah, the routes, right, that are mapped to that might have parameters, but that's for navigating on the client, right? Don't confuse that with the server, right? Being able to parse variables, right, or values from the path, right, on the on the server side, right? So that right here we've declared two variables embedded in a URL, and then in the handler, using the requests, right, we can read, right, the values of each one of those parameters, right? Again, we can use this syntax, or we can use the more versatile syntax, right, where you can say console log request dot params dot, and then we can use this syntax, right? Variable to, oops, using the square bracket notation. Let's see, there's a question in the chat. When should we use dot variable and when should we use $sign variable? So the colon variable, right, means that I am going to parse value from the URL, right? So you're sending me an URL, I'm reading it here, right, in the request, right? So what happens here is that this is on the server side. So on the server side, a path is I am being invoked. This function handler is being invoked when this URL is typed at the URL, right, in the browser, and you provided values for variable 1 and variable 2. Now on the server, the handler gets invoked, and those variables are available to you through the request.param. So this is on the server, right, and we're using colon variable so that when the URL comes in, if there's a value, an actual value in that position, after the sum, right, and before the end, whatever value there is being associated to a variable called variable 1, which I can then read and do logic about it. Okay. Now, whoever generated this data, variable 1, whoever generated the URL, right, that value was dynamic. Okay, maybe somebody's ID, maybe somebody's username, somebody's email, whatever. Okay, so it's not going to be hard coded on the client side. Whoever sent this URL to me, and the way you generate those dynamic URLs on the client side is you use the $sign curly brackets, right? And so here I am generating the path dynamically, right? And so I am, some variable has the value P1 value, and I am embedding this expression. This is an expression. So I'm not reading value from the URL, I am putting values in the URL, right? I am creating the URL, which can be used in this case for routing for navigation, or it could be used for embedding value into the URL that I'm going to send over to the server. All right, so you use dollar signs to create the URL, and you use colon. Right, to associate those values and be able to read those values from the URL. Okay, and the way you read it is use params. Okay. Okay, so if you're using a post, typically you'll be sending data across to whoever's receiving this data, right? And usually you would embed the data in the body, right? So of the request. So from the request, you're going to retrieve the body using request.body. So that means that on the client side, so this is a body on the server, and then on the client, you would generate a fetch, right? And the fetch, right, would be this URL here. But typically would be your local host, probably local host 3000 / some path, right there. And then because it's a post, we would need to override the method. So this would be the method would be that it's post, right? Because I want to invoke this post here. The URL is already encoded here. But because we're sending some data in the body, I would need to also send you the body, as a stringified JSON object, right? And this would be some data. Send you. Then this is coded in JSON, right? So it would be in the headers, so that the server knows how to interpret this. And this would be content type, and this would be application /JSON. Okay? I'm sending that over. I guess the server code should be later. So move this over here. Here we go. Right. So be sure to understand that. Services, so it's a control logic plus a service. I'm gonna remove that. Never mind that. So Mongo, make sure that you know how to start MongoD, which uses DB path, where you have some path that says DB/data or something, right? When you start the Mongo client, make sure that you are familiar with all the commands, the command line, that you can display the databases. You can switch to another database, right? You can show the collections. You can use the inserts, the find, right? The remove, update, right? Also careful that if you use field value like that, you're replacing the old object. That you should instead use $set. If you want to merge or you just want to update just a few fields, right? That if you don't use set, you're going to replace the old object. Probably that's not what you want. So careful there. How to work with arrays and booleans. Mongoose, how to work with schemas. We can create the data types, and for where you can just declare a simple primitive data type, right? Or you can embed other fields in there, so you can create complex structures, right? Also make sure I guess we didn't do this, do we? So I'm just going to scratch this text. Yeah, we didn't do references. But we did talk about some other options, right? If you're only declaring that something is some particular primitive data type, like a string, number, date, Boolean, then that's enough. But if you want to provide additional configuration, then you can use this other syntax where you declare the type in the curly brackets, your type string. This is equivalent to this. But this allows you to add additional configuration, such as saying that this field is required, or that it has an initial value, or that the only valid values are these in a square bracket. We did talk about embedding other fields, other objects, right? Where I think we used it in stats for the tweets. We didn't do this, so I'm gonna count that out. And we didn't do arrays. But if you know how to do that, then go for it. But it's not going to be in the exam. Also, we used the collection attribute to describe what collection we're storing the data. So that's on the Mongo on the client side. But if you are, if you want to interact with this programmatically, you'll need things such as Mongoose, and where you can declare a model, you can declare a schema, right? From the schema that you declared earlier, right? You can do finds with the projections and the where clauses, right? And the find always returns an array, right? Whereas find by ID and find one always return a single document, which you can then use for that, right? There's create, there's update one, careful, update one and remove one. We didn't work on populate, so I'm not going to cover populate. Session, so make sure you understand the mechanism of setting cookies, right? And to store things in the session, that you have to provide the credentials, include. So, okay, this was Java when I used to cover Java, but I don't do that anymore. So I'm gonna take that out. Retrieve, okay, not Java. Let me strike that. Same thing here. So that's Java. And this is Java, so I'm not gonna do that. Invalidate, so Java, no Java. Example, okay, so yeah, make sure that, if I give you an example on storing things in the session, retrieving session, a particular sequence of events, you're able to follow along and say, okay, well, what's the value of the session now, right? Make sure you understand that. I think that's it. Well, obviously, all the stuff that we covered in the previous review, HTML, CSS, but that's going to be less of it, maybe a third of the exam. But most of it is going to focus on this. 2/3 of it was going to focus on the second half of the semester. Okay. All right. Any questions? Okay. How many questions will there be? I'm not sure, about, I don't know, between 20, 25 questions.
Sorry, was there a consensus about this quiz 7? I joined a bit late here.
Yeah, no, so just yeah, ping me and I'll open it for you, but not right now.
Okay. Do you prefer email or?
Just text me. Here's a.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, the exam, the structure will be identical to the just like a long quiz, right? Where you're gonna have a lot of multiple choice, fill in the blank, right? You know, very much like all the quizzes that we've been working on. Yeah, the exam will be during class. Again, if you can't make it that Thursday, you know, reach out to the TAs, myself, and then you know you can take it during an office hour or something.
Professor, on like the syllabus, the assignments are weighted different. Like the quizzes are a certain percentage and the assignments are a different percentage, but those weights aren't seen for us on Canvas. Is there a way that you could like set the category weights on Canvas so that we can see what our grade would actually be with those weighted like categories?
Right. So the weight is this here that you see in the syllabus.
Right. But on Canvas, like usually for other classes, like you'll see like that those category weights exist in the Canvas grading system, where we can't see that. So the grade that it shows on Canvas isn't accurate to what like our grade in the course would be.
Okay. Yes. All right. We'll do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
I believe all the quizzes have been made available for you to take on your own. Katharina, I think they've been made available, you know, the last couple of days for 2 or 3 days. And you can take it on your own, you know, just within, I think they've been available for 24 hours. And then you have to find a 30-minute window for you to take it on your own. When will quiz 7 answers be open? There's a few folks who haven't taken the quiz just yet. Let's make sure that everybody has taken it. Any other quizzes after quiz 7? I don't believe so. No, just quiz 7 is the last one. Any other questions?
Hi, Professor. Are you holding office hour right now?
Yeah, I'll take a break, a short break, and then I'll do office hours. I just want to know if there's any general questions about the exam or. Yeah, there's only really 6 questions, 6 quizzes. I think there's one was misnumbered. There is no quiz 5, I think, or something. All right, so if there's no more questions, I'm going to take a short break.
Professor, I have mailed you regarding my exam regrading.
I'm sorry?
I've mailed you regarding the exam regrade. There were few answers which were incorrectly marked on the exam, first one, and it hasn't been graded yet.
All right, so ping me at my phone number, and then we can chat.
Okay, sure, Professor.
I'll reach out to the TA, see what's going on.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Ella, I'll make sure that the percentages and the weights are set up, but you know you can calculate your grades by following this weights over here.
Hi, Professor. Thank you for answering my question about relationship of many to many in the beginning of class. But I'm still confused a little bit about it because I see the requirement is under the data model complexity in the requirement document. So I wonder if I choose the map way to do the to implement the many-to-many relationship, do I still need to keep a record of, for example, the movie entity in my own collection or in my own database? In that case, can I just refer it to it by its ID from a remote API?
Yes. Now the problem with that is that say I go to my profile and I want to list all the movies that I like. Then that would mean that I would need to make, say I liked 12 movies. And so how would you render that in my profile where I can see all the movies that I liked? I would need to make 12 remote calls, because the only thing that I have on my database is an array of, say, IMDb's. And so to say, if I want to render the name of the movie, or I want to render a small little thumbnail of the poster of the movies that I like, I would need to make 12 calls to fetch the data, right? And then extract that and then just render that page. That's very expensive. And in any case, that's only a one-to-many, right? Where one user likes these movies, but then you can't answer, movie XYZ, who likes movies? Well, I guess you could, right? You could iterate over all the users, see if the movie is found somewhere. So you can calculate it on the fly, but that's very, very expensive. So that's why you implement many-to-manys, where now you would need to store in the movies object, right, an array of who likes the movies. Plus, in there you can store the title of the movie, maybe a hyperlink of the poster for that movie. Maybe not the whole movie object that is stored in the remote API. Maybe not the whole thing, because it might have the director and the cast and the plot and all stuff that maybe you don't care to list in a very small, simple list of movies that I like. But at least the title, right? You would need an actual object to be stored in the database, which represents that movie. And you would need to maintain it, right? Every time a new person likes it, you would need to, you would need to be able to say, well, who likes these movies? Because say I go to the details page, right? In the details page, I need to be able to answer. Not only will I go to the server to fetch information about the movie, like the director and the plot, right, and a whole bunch of the cast, but also in my local database, I know that these 10 people like the movie, right? So I would need to be able to list those 10 people that like the movie, or maybe even count, right? And so that I can highlight, ooh, this movie has 10 likes, right? So in that case, now it's a many-to-many, right? A user has many likes, and the movie also has many likes, pointing in opposite directions, right? The user likes points to the movies, and the movie points to the users, right? In that sense, it's many-to-many. Now, there's two ways to implement it, right? Like I showed you earlier, right? The user can maintain an array of the movies that they like, and the movie can maintain an array of the users that like the movie. That's one way. It's a little harder to maintain because there's some redundancy there, right? There's redundancy. Whereas if you have an intermediate collection or a table where that it points to both of them, then there's no redundancy there, right? You have the fact that user one likes movie one, it's only captured once. And that's true many-to-many. If you only have a user likes the movie, then that's only a one-to-many. One user likes many movies.
Yeah, and our team decided to use the map way to implement many-to-many. So there is a separate, in that example, the entity.
Collection?
Yeah, collection. And we keep the user ID and the movie ID.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Document in that collection. So no matter if we put the movie ID from the local database or from the remote API, we still need to we actually don't put the whole information in that movie information, just the movie ID in that like collection.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in either way, we still need to like find all the movie IDs or use a movie ID to query that collection to get all the users' IDs that like the movie. And need to, so I wonder, is it more expensive to put the movie ID from the remote API or from our own database?
Well, I mean, in your movie entity, aren't you copying information about the movie, like the title? If you're copying the information about the title, then when you render the list of movies from the user's profile, then there's no need to go to the remote API to fetch the information for the movie because you already have it in your database.
Oh, so you mean get data from our own database is less expensive than querying
Yes.
get data from remote API, right?
Right.
Okay.
And you own the data. You can do all sorts of optimizations.
I see.
And caching and whatnot, which you can't do with the remote API because you don't own it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So it looks like we're going to an office hour. So let me take a short break. I'll be right back, and then we can do office hours. Okay. All right. I'll be right back. All right. All right, everyone.
Hi, Professor.
Hi, let me allow multiple shares. Okay.
Can I ask a question about deploying on Heroku?
Sure, what's up?
Can I share my screen?
Go ahead.
Okay. So we use Spring Boot as our backend. Oh, sorry, I can't click. Oh, can you see my IntelliJ?
I can, yes.
I don't know how to switch to that text, is it?
I'm sorry?
Oh, sorry, wait a minute. Okay. Okay, so our project works well locally, but when I deploy it on Heroku, it says it can find the path.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never deployed Heroku, Java to Heroku, so I don't know.
Okay, so could you give me some maybe hints or suggestion?
I'm guessing they have. I'm sure they have tutorials on Heroku how to deploy Java.
Yeah, I have spent like 5 or 6 hours finding solution, but
wait a minute.
yeah.
Spring.
I think it fails to link to the database.
Oh, here it is. Wait a minute. Spring
Okay.
On Spring Boot. No, it's fine. Oh, yeah, no, I have. For 501, Spring, Okay, try. Oh, wait, what?
Do you need to see the?
Okay, so try this. Let me copy this. Copy link. So there's one. This is a while ago when I used to use Java for my courses. It might have changed since then, but let me see if I have another one. Spring on How about this one? What's this? Spring Boot, GPI, create blah 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 blah. Are you using a database in the back?
Yeah, and I have deployed my database to Heroku, and it works well locally.
Okay.
Do you need to see the error log? I think it just doesn't link to the database, but I'm not sure. Let me find the start here.
Oh, no, this one doesn't have Heroku. Yeah, no, try that one. Try those slides. Can I see the error?
Sure.
No, I mean on Heroku.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, can you go to Heroku?
Yeah. I think it's
right there.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is this it? Okay, so go to Review resources. Wait, am I controlling?
I need to give. I think I need to give permission, but I need to close Zoom to change the configuration. So, let me try.
No, wait a minute. Give up remote control. And then if I request remote control. So auto warrant happen. Community server. You have to unlock. No, that was it.
Yeah, I unlocked, but it seems I need to restart Zoom to let it.
Yeah, this is pretty involved. It's something that I haven't done in quite a while. Take a look at the slides first.
Okay.
See if that helps, and this will require a little longer.
Yeah.
Investigation.
Yes, I have spent a lot of time.
Yeah. When you go a little bit off of what we cover day to day, you become a little bit on your own, unfortunately. But I'm happy to take a look at it together. Just that it's a little bit too involved for this office hours. So why don't you ping me, at noon tomorrow? Maybe we can take a look at it together.
Oh, sure, great, thanks.
Yeah.
So, what time would be?
At noon.
At noon, so like 12 o'clock or?
Yeah, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, something like that, right after lunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Sunji?
Hi, Professor.
Hi,
so
what's up?
Our team is having some issues parsing through the API. Can I share my screen?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, we discussed it last time as well. So I'm able to display, like I'm able to parse one level from the API, but if I'm using map to display all, like each rank, then we are not able to parse through that.
Like study fields?
Yeah.
Go back to the JSON. What is that? So study fields, right? And you want to iterate over the study fields?
Yeah.
Okay. Go back to the code. Okay. So where are you trying to? Can you show me where you're trying to render, iterate over it?
So,
is it study fields or study field? But it looks like it's study fields, not study fields. Oh, there it is. Study fields response. Yeah. So
this is
see,
the first level, study fields response.
Right.
And then it goes into study fields.
Yeah. So see, when on line 39, you wanna guard for it, right? You want to put trials and just like you did on line 31.
Trials and trials dot study fields response, but it gives me an error when I run it.
Yeah, no, of course. You were not guarding for it, right? So do trials and then do another trials and dot study response and so copy that again. Yeah, and trials dot study fields response dot study fields dot map. Okay, try that. See what that does. Okay, go ahead. Right there in the React, isn't that it? The React app right there, the tab.
Yeah.
Is that it?
So it gives me this error
Okay, yeah. So before adding all those lines, line 41, so many lines of code on line 41 through line 58, comment that out. No, 41 through 58.
Oh.
You want to keep the li. Okay, comment that out. Now render inside of after line 40. Not trial dynasty, the trial object. All right, so new line and then colon, see what's in the trial object first. Okay, now render it. Okay. It doesn't look like it did the rendering. Wait, go to the right. Wait a minute, can you take control?
Yeah.
Request control. So what are you doing here? Sorry, blah, blah, trial. I think no, it's not the no. You're putting. Yeah, and there's no curly bracket here. There's no object called trial in there. Save. Map trial. Study field, blah, blah, blah. Study field response. I mean, do we even have this? I'm just going to grab this. Let me see if there's actually something there. Oh, it's under this. Wait, it should be way down here. Yeah, there it is. See that?
Yeah, so it is displaying the ranks, right?
Yeah, so let's comment that out. So can you comment this out, please?
Yeah. So this, I cannot see the trials under this list items.
Okay, so let's copy this. So we say, paste. Like that. Let's see. Okay.
Should I try again?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Okay. No, not yet. I'm not done. Oh no. Can you go back? Span. Oh my God, the keyboard's not letting me type. Okay, so this is stringify. I want to print out. Can you copy this?
Yeah.
Copy it and paste it in here. Okay, close the curly bracket. Okay, render it now. Okay, there's the array. So there's array, okay.
Right.
There's the array. Interesting. Trials, did we miss something? Trials, not study fields. Oh, yeah, no, we missed a curly bracket, an and. Okay, copy that. Well, include the S, including the S. Copy that.
Yeah.
And then paste it in there. Paste it. Paste. Okay. Okay. And comment this out. Comment this out. Yeah, I don't know if there's something on the left here. Yeah, see, you have an extra curly bracket in there somewhere. Remove that. Okay. Can you refresh on the left-hand side? Huh.
No.
What the heck? Trials, trials, response study fields.
So this is repeated twice?
Well, no, before the map, you have to check for it before you do the map.
Okay.
Is it not an array? Study fields. It isn't a study fields. Study fields. It is an array. Huh. Okay. Can you do undo several times until we get this again? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's put dot length. Oops. Okay. Can you refresh the other 20? So it is an array. Okay, so instead of length, can you choose the first sub-zero? Yeah, so remove length, then square bracket 0, and render that.
Yeah, so it displays the first element.
Yeah, so something is fishy then here because this has to render. What is it here? Let me see. What can you go to the end? Map function.
Professor, I think there needs to be a normal bracket instead of a curly
bracket.
I know.
Yeah. So we have an extra bracket here.
Oh.
Yeah. Close this. Take out this bracket here. Trial. Wait a minute. Yeah, there's a syntax error. Yeah, fix the syntax error. What happened? You switched over. What?
Yeah. So, what's happening?
Yeah, there's an extra square brackets here. Yeah, there's a syntax error. Where's UL? Why is this showing? Why is this not showing full screen? But your screen is not showing full screen. I don't know why.
Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I can see your screen, but it's not full screen, so I can't see very much. So this is making it very hard to debug this part here. Can you copy it somewhere else so that we can debug it? Just copy it somewhere. Just cut it out and just move it. Because you have to start with small instead of going big bang, trying to do the whole thing at once. You should first make sure, okay, can I get the data? Right? Can I display the JSON? And then I can break it up. So trial li. So this closes with that, and this closes with that one. Oh, okay. So yeah. So instead of trial, JSON dot stringify, and then close that. Okay. Save that. Refresh. There we go. See that?
Yeah, right.
And now you can focus on, well, I want the NCT ID. I want the brief title, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, all right. Yeah, it works now. Thank you so much,
you
Professor.
should start and say, okay, I'm going to implement the whole thing, and then it makes it really, really hard to debug.
Yeah, right. Thank you so much, Professor.
All right, good luck.
Hi, Professor.
Hi, what's up?
So this is just a quick one about the course policy. So can I share my screen with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So this is from the database class that you share with us, and I try to run this, but then I got some issue with saying, hey, I think it's say course policy, and I'm not sure like how to do the thing that allow us to run everything that we want to run. Let me show you real quick here. So I go in here, right? And then I go to inspect, and I think it's complaining about, okay, so here now it's just complaining about new stuff.
Okay.
It cannot read properties. Huh.
So wait a minute. So wait, cannot blah, 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 React app component error occurred, type error cannot read properties undefined, reading create element, blah, 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 and customer. Okay. Can you go back to the code?
Yes.
Can you go to customer? Okay. I go to index.js first. Okay. All right. So first, let's make sure that, can you comment out lines 8 through 15 real quick?
8 through 15?
Yes.
So
15. No. So select the whole thing and do control/. Yeah. So line 7, make a new line on line 7. And put say hello. Just type whatever. Go back and refresh the screen. Wait, where customer HTML? Do Control-Shift-R.
Control-Shift-R.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. So this must be some more fundamental error. Can you go back to the code?
Yeah.
No, leave this alone. Let's go. All right. Comment out lines 2 through 4.
2 through 4. So I guess we can just comment this out then.
Yeah, those you can comment out normally. Okay. Go back and refresh.
It's still the same.
Okay, go back in the code. Go back to customer.html. Customer.html. Yeah, comment out lines 17 through 19. Okay, go back and refresh. Okay, go back on line 7. Go to index.js. Line 7, div. Oh.
Oh, is it because of the React stuff that I put here?
Oh yeah, that import, that doesn't work like that. Yeah, no. Yeah, comment it out.
Okay,
Go see the original index.js down below under user, that one. Yeah, that one. Open. Okay.
No,
yeah.
you don't import React.
Yeah.
There.
Okay. Refresh the screen now.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. Now we can start putting stuff in.
Yep. So I guess we can go back to here.
Okay. So import the those two. Okay. Now go back and refresh.
I think we also need to go into index.js over here, right? Because
oh yeah, the index.js, we need to comment back those in.
Yeah.
In HTML. Comment uncomment 17 through 19.
So there.
Refresh. Okay. All right. Then. All right. So you are in slash. So try to connect to ORM's customer. Okay. So is that URL actually working?
Yeah, I believe it should work. Like localhost should be 8080/ORM/customer. Wait, why is it so slow? Oh, is this thing stuff?
Yes, it wasn't running. Yeah, check to see if it's if it was go back and reload that. Reload this. Oh, it's 8080. It's the wrong port.
Oh, I'm missing 0. Sorry about that.
There we go.
Yep,
Okay,
so
go back to your refresh this.
Yep, so I think
okay.
it's the...
all right. So probably you don't have a cross origin in the DAO.
So how do you know where I can put that course and how do I put
in the DAO? Go to the DAO for your customers.
DAO. Yep.
Customer DAO. So line 16, new line. So add cross origin. Yeah, that one. And then open parenthesis origin equal star. No, origins equal star. No, without the quotes. Origins equal quote star. Start and restart. No, you have to restart the server.
Oh, I have to restart the server too.
Yeah, because you changed code, so you need to compile.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
So I guess it's...
All right.
Okay,
Yeah, go back and refresh. Uncontent promise set users is not defined. Okay, go to, click there.
Click here.
Yeah, click there.
19, I think it's combined.
All right, go, where's the error? Go to console again. Customer service. Okay, let's go look at
oh, it's in customer list, I think.
Okay, let's go see customer service 19.
You mean customer service?
Well, I don't know. Let's see. 19. Wait, no. Here, go down a little bit. 19 is not okay. All right, then it must be in the list. Customer list.
So
go up. Go up.
Oh, it says set.
Okay, set. Oh, it said customers, and you use set users, I think.
I think that's the issue.
Since our user is not defined on line 29, go to line 29.
Yep.
Customer list, line 29. Yeah, it's customer, not user, right?
Oh, that's right.
And does the customer have all those things? First name, last name, and whatnot?
Yeah, it should have. Oh,
There it
there you
is.
go. There you go. So so let's say if I having a lot of issue with like the link and like the
Yeah.
route part.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is all database stuff, questions that I'm gonna have an office hours for specifically for this stuff tomorrow.
okay, yeah, gotcha. I guess
So
I'm sorry
tomorrow
about
they're
this.
gonna have office hours specifically for database.
Yep.
All
Thank
right.
you so much, Professor.
Yeah, if you could join tomorrow at around 5, we can
5.
take a look at it together. Okay.
Gotcha. Yep. Thank you.
All right. Good
Hi,
luck.
Professor.
Hi. What's up?
Hi, can I share my screen?
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, my team are struggling with the login component because our logic is like when the status is equal to 0, I should alert and say wrong password. And when the status is equal to 1, oh, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
You should not be handling action responses in the reducer.
Really?
No, you should be, wait, what are you doing here? Check login status. What are you doing here? You're passing action response status, wrong password. Yeah, you should be, okay, can I see how you calling this reducer?
How I calling this reducer? So in my component, I use so in my app.js, I have import user info from the reducer login, and I combine the reducers.
Yeah.
Then in the login component, I use the state and use selector to retrieve the data.
Wait a minute. Okay, that's fine. But when you do the login, what do you do here?
Login. So
yeah, how is that user data status? What's that status?
So the status means that that the passwords is not match.
Okay, so how do you do that?
So I just
how do you check to see that the is not match? Okay, so there's a login, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing a fetch. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the response comes in, and dispatch check login status.
Yes.
So the dot then you have the response. So the login on the server side, you either are returning a 200 status, or you're returning a 403, right? Where it means that you're not authorized or the passwords don't match or whatever. I didn't find the user.
Yeah.
And so what you should do is that you should have a dot then that handles the happy path, right? Meaning the username and password. I found the user and I'm sending you the user, and so everything's okay. But then you should have an error here. Dot catch on line 31.
31.
And so yeah, so wait a minute. Dot login service. So you should yeah, okay, all right. So you have dot then response dispatch. Oh, okay, you're passing the dispatch here. Okay, the problem of passing the dispatch here is that it's too late for you to do anything in the UI.
Oh.
Right. So that dot then on line 25, I would instead do that on the component. So move that dot then in the component. Well, you're missing the dot. in the dot then. Careful. Yeah, cut it out from there. Now go back to here. And so where's the call here in the dot then? Login, blah, 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 else if, wait, what are you doing here? Login, user data status, login, blah, blah, blah. Okay, there it is. So,
yeah.
Well, you already have a dot then there, see?
Yeah, because I want to, so if
okay, so that dot then is the happy path.
Yes.
And then you're gonna have a dot catch.
Yes.
A dot catch, and this is going to give you it's a function, so it's a function, same thing. Put a function there. Open curly, open parentheses, close parentheses. No. Open close parentheses, arrow. A function.
Oh, I see. Like this.
Yeah, curly brackets. No, curly brackets. Okay, so if you leave the curly brackets like that, then you're saying that I'm ignoring the error and nothing's going to happen. I'm going to stay here in the logging component, right? I'm not going to navigate. Whereas the dot then in there with the status, presumably you're going to navigate, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, you would navigate to the profile page, right? Not home.
Okay.
Right now in the server, when the username and password don't match, right, you would send back an error, and so that error would send you through the catch version here. But if you don't send an error, you would go into that then here.
Oh, so I'm handling like
the error you would handle on line 27. Which would be, something went wrong. I didn't find the username and password, blah, blah, blah. And here's where you can set a local state variable saying, sorry, I could not log you in, blah, 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 whatever. You don't need the reducer for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, you could have a local variable here saying whether it was successful or not, or maybe an error message, a local state variable called error message or something, right? Which you set. Initially the error message is nothing. You set the error message and then it gets highlighted. You display the error message. A state variable like an array with a use state. No. With a square brackets. Yeah. Oops. Oh no. Let's do this. It changes the there we go. Now it's not in full screen. Hey, what's wrong with Zoom? Oh, whatever. I don't see your screen anymore.
Oh. I need to share again.
Wait a minute, view, there it is, full screen. There we go, okay. Did you give me control?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't edit anything for some reason.
Could you please request again?
Request control again. There you go. Yeah, so this would be a state variable.
Oh, set error message.
So use state. Right, initially it's empty. So in the catch here, you would set, set error message error message, unable to log in. So there's no need to put anything, this stuff in the reducer. I mean, you can, but it would be an overkill. Right? It's all locally in the login screen. There's no need to notify anyone else. Right?
So I don't need the status, right?
Yeah. I mean, unless you want other components to know, right, that you weren't able to log in, then yes, you would put in the reducer. And so somewhere here, you would display the error message, right? Error message somewhere. Maybe with a, I don't know, with a H1. Yeah, that's weird. I can't cut. And so, but now on the server side, what do you have on the server side? Where's your server? The login service, right?
Yeah, login service.
No, I mean on the server side.
You mean the backend, right?
Yeah, the backend. Is that a separate?
Yeah, it's a separate project.
Yeah, so if you don't find the username and password, you send back 403.
Oh.
And then, so that 403 is going to give an error, right? Which will force you to go through the catch.
Okay. So you mean here in my login?
Oh, using Java?
Yeah.
Why is everybody now using Java? Yeah, so yeah, the requests. Yeah, I don't remember how to send back a status in Java. I forget. Yeah, so I don't know, it's requests dot set status maybe? No. Yeah, I don't remember how to set status. Oh, maybe yeah, I don't remember. You need to find out how to send back a 403.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Professor.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Hello, Professor. I have just one quick question.
Hi,
Are
what's
the
up?
graduate students allowed to apply as a TA for the undergrad web dev for the spring semester?
Oh yeah, of course. Yes, definitely.
Or so both the TAs will be same for both for undergrad as well as graduate, or it will be different?
Yeah, no, the basically it's the way we do it is that we have a pool of TAs and they all they all work for both.
Okay. Okay, so you haven't selected yet, right? Because I have submitted it on the portal.
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. Thank you, Professor. Have a good night.
All right. Xiaowei. Xiaowei, can you hear me? Can't hear you. All right, Ali, can you hear me?
Okay. Hi, Professor. Oh, so you can go first.
Hello.
Hi, what's up?
Okay, I have some questions.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, because I just noticed there's some issue about the connection to the MongoDB in the previous assessment. So can I share a screen now?
Go ahead.
When I click the profile and it shows not defined. And the second one where click cancelled and the previous one is it shows undefined again. I need to refresh and it will be return the previous situation.
So do you know if the data is being updated in the database?
Yeah, I think I think I have already updated the profile and.
Can you show me that that the data is being updated in the database?
You mean the React side or Node side?
I'm sorry?
You mean the front side or server side?
Well, your question is about the database, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it should be because previously this one is it shows normally, but when I connect to the MongoDB, so it shows some the problem. It shows undefined.
All right, can you show me where you save it in the database? Where's the code that saves it to the database?
I think it's probably it should be from here.
Okay, can you put a breakpoint on line 62?
Can I control screen, Professor?
Sure. Let me see. Request control.
Thank you.
Okay, breakpoint there. And so you need to create a node. JavaScript. Okay, can you find me the code? Where's the code?
Oh.
Where's this assignment? I don't know where we are.
It is in the. You mean React or Node?
The node, yes, node.
No, actually here.
Okay, and server.js, is that it? And so this is, let's see, is it under users, XW, webdev. Okay. Okay. Okay, and it's this one, right?
Yeah.
So let me run that. Do you have the server already running?
Yeah, it is running in the terminal.
Okay, let's stop it. Okay. Okay, I'm going to run it here. Okay, I'm going to run it in debug mode. Okay, and so let's try doing this edit profile. So what do you edit here? Okay, there we are. This is data that we're sending. There it is. First name, last name. That looks right. And status. Okay, let's add here. So we can put a breakpoint right there. Let's restart. Let's do it again. Edit. Save. Status is null. Aha, something is wrong in your update profile. Stop this. Let's go to your update profile. Where's your update profile? Where's your DAO? Is it your DAO maybe?
Yeah.
Update profile. What are you doing? Find your update profile. You're doing a find by an update. And then you're going to return this maybe. Find by ID and updates. Okay, where's this find by ID and update?
You mean I should use other Mongo function?
I don't know. Is this a model function? I don't know. I've never used this one.
Oh, maybe this is wrong.
So I know it's I know this one.
Update one. Update should be fine. Oh, because I have tried this one in the line 11.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, but it seems it have the same problem. I don't know why.
Okay, so but I'm not going to be able to debug the other one. I can debug this one.
Let's try. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, you did this. Okay, yeah. A breakpoint here. Profile. Ooh, ID is undefined. See that? That's a problem.
Oh.
So is that here? So why don't you debug why is that undefined first?
That should be at the line 10.
So here, why is this ID undefined? Update profile, is this update profile? Oh, you don't have an ID here.
Oh, I have tried to add the ID, but it also doesn't work, so I deleted it. I don't know.
Oops. Well, I mean, if you delete it here, then obviously it's not going to work here. So
I will try to add it.
ID. Although you know what, you probably already have it in the body. So let's keep it like that. And so we'll go with probably is in the body. And so we'll ignore that. And so in the DAO, this ID is probably in the profile. So let's copy that. Paste. Oh, shoot. Paste. Dot underscore. Okay, let's restart. Let's try it again. See? Ooh, it's undefined. So does the profile have anything? Oh, the profile doesn't have an ID. So yeah, no. So you have to pass it from the web. So where is your profile edit? Your service. There it is. So you're saying the URL is this one, profile API. So you have to pass in the ID. So I imagine it's in the, where's the ID? You're not passing any ID here. So how do you know what you're editing? Okay, so what we'll do is do you even have something in the database already stored in the profile?
I think there's no ID in the profile now.
Yeah, you have to create something in the database first that has an ID, and then we can use that ID here.
But I remember when I add the data in the MongoDB, the ID is created automatically.
Yeah, exactly. So you need to either hard code that ID here, or you have to dynamically first read what's there that has an ID, use that ID, and then update it over here. Either hard code it, or you have to somehow generate that ID, either hard code it in the client or hard code it in the server.
You mean I need to create ID like this one?
No. In the database, you already have to have a record of this user and then use that ID.
Since the database have already the ID, so how can I use the ID from the database now? So
you're gonna go into the database, you're gonna copy the ID of the database, and you're gonna hard code it here.
Hard code here. Oh my.
I'm sorry?
You mean I need the hard code here in space of this one?
Yeah, exactly.
So is there any?
Yeah, because we don't have a mechanism where you log in and you identify yourself and it says, okay, I am so and so, and okay, now we have an ID associated to this person. We don't have that, right? So instead, right, we're going to have the record already existing in the database. It's going to have an ID, and then you can use that ID.
Okay.
Or, right, if you know that the user already exists, and then we don't find somebody by ID. We find them by username, by password, or something.
For example, this ID, this one.
Yeah, exactly. So copy that ID. Yeah, exactly. Copy this ID. No. The 6-1, just a string. Yeah, copy that. I mean, the whole thing. Yeah, copy that. And now hard code it there. Instead of profile.id, just hard code it in strings, in a string. Put a string around it. Okay. All right, let's restart. Then go back to the client. The status says that matched count one update. Let's see. So we go back to your Mongo. Okay, see, we updated it.
Oh.
There it is. See that?
Oh, so we also need to click the fresh.
Yeah, well, that you can work on your own.
Okay.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Professor.
All right, Allie, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I got an offer to TA for this course next semester. I was wondering if you can just talk about like the expectations, what's like the responsibilities and the weekly commitment.
Yeah, I think we should talk about that a little bit offline.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But basically, you know, it's about four hours of office hours, where you have 2 days of 2 hours of office hours answering questions, one-on-one, you know, working with students one-on-one, also, listening to questions on Piazza and answering them as they come in, and then, you know, mostly grading the assignments as they come in and meeting with me once every week to plan out the upcoming week. So it should be about 10 to 15 hours a week, perhaps, of work.
Okay.
But obviously, knowing this material helps, having gone through it once, and knowing all the challenges that you've gone, and then sharing that with the TA, with the students, definitely benefit. But please feel free to catch up with me and we can talk about this offline. I'm free all afternoon tomorrow, so reach out to me and then we can chat some more.
Okay. And do you mean by like email or?
No, I posted my phone here.
Oh, I have your phone number.
You have it?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay, so ping me tomorrow and then we can chat some more.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Good luck. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Professor.
Hi, what's up?
So I'm like struggling a little with the search for the project. I know you had like given an example, I think last week on Tuesday and Thursday, and I was trying to follow a similar format, but I don't know what that issue is, but basically it's an e-commerce site. So when I search like something random, I'm trying to map the products, and how I read the products is using this. So I'm using Next.js.
Okay. Oh, cool. Really?
Yeah. So I'm fetching all the products here, and then I'm returning products, and I end up calling it here.
Okay.
So
do you actually get data back
from like this?
So it's probably, can you render that? See what we get back?
Yeah,
right
so
there
if I
online.
do,
Yeah, so comment that out. Comment back then, and then just remove the title. Remove title.
yeah,
so
so
that we can get.
it does show up.
So search again, maybe. Oh, okay, awesome. It's an array.
Yeah.
Okay, so you should be able to render that array, right? Are those a whole bunch of products that match your criteria? Is that what it is?
Yeah, there's just a lot of products that are mentioned.
Okay, cool. Let's do that. We can render it. Go back. The code.
But one thing I'm surprised about is if I do like products.title, would that not?
Well, it would have to be the first one, right? The array sub-0. It's an array, so you have to say product sub-0 or something.
Okay.
Right. So on line 22, you could say it's products, square bracket 0. Okay. And then dot title maybe. Try that.
Okay.
So basically what you're going to do is you're going to iterate over the whole thing, and you're going to display the titles of each one using the map, right? So if you go back, you comment back in line 23. Yeah, comment that back in. So yeah, so line 24, you need to put that in curly brackets, right?
Yeah.
The whole.
This one or sorry.
No, the whole thing. Line 24. At the beginning of products, that whole thing is an expression. So open curly bracket and then close curly bracket. Yeah. So products. So line. So the inside the map, that's supposed to be product, and then the variable also product there, the parameter product. And then same thing with that one, product. Yeah. Wait, do you have a line, a red line under LI? It's complaining about that. Why is it complaining about that? I don't see anything wrong. Okay, refresh. Let's see, go back and render.
Oh, it's showing this one from above. It's not showing this part.
Products.
I thought it would be products.
Well, no, I mean, you're iterating on products on 19.4, and then each product individually is product. Maybe, wait a minute. Can I take control real quick?
Yeah. Are you able to? Okay, yeah, I think.
Can you save that and refresh? There we go.
Oh, so the issue was the brackets.
Yeah, this yeah, don't put everything in one line. Sometimes it can't parse it, so it's good practice to put everything in a separate line. So even this should be in its own line.
Okay.
Because even I could not follow or debug this if it's everything in a single line. Yeah, that's better.
Okay, sorry about that.
Even this should be its own line.
But why is there still like an issue with the LI?
I don't know. Well, I don't know what the unique identifier. Does this have a unique identifier? Yeah, I don't know. Does it have an ID? Because this is supposed to have key. This is supposed to have key equal something unique.
Oh, okay. It does have an ID.
So, but I don't know what the unique identifier for product is.
Okay.
But yeah, you can ignore that. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So basically, in order to do the search, I would like, I understand how to do it, like talking it out, but in terms of coding, so basically the user enters, let's say like backpack. So then would I end up going through each, I guess like, I would probably look through the description and see if any of the description contains backpack in it. Would that?
No. You would set in this fake whatever story API something or other, you would send the query to this API. The API searches for the products that match your criteria, and then would come back with a result set that matches your criteria, and then you display whatever that comes back with. So you're not doing the filtering, the API does.
Okay.
Because,
but I don't have to specify.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what fakestoreapi.com does. I'm not familiar with that API. But I imagine in their documentation, it would say if you want to search a topic or a genre or whatever, right? A category, provide this parameter.
Okay, so I think how
So I would go and read their documentation and see how it works.
Okay.
Like the way OMDB works is that you provide a parameter called I or S or T, and then you provide the ID or the search term or whatever.
Okay.
Looks like /products comes back with all their products, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, so then they do it based on ID. So
yeah, you should read the documentation. I don't know what it is.
Okay. And then okay, so basically the API would do the searching kind of, and then
yeah.
Okay. Okay, understood. And then other than that, I was just wondering if I think in terms of signing in, is it okay to have like sign in with Google as well, like
that'd be awesome. It's a little harder. It's more work, unless you know how to do it.
Okay, because
it's a little more challenging.
Oh, okay.
But if you want to do that, that's even better.
Okay. Yeah, because I think when we sign in with Google through like as an admin, then the admin page shows up, which we still have to create, and then it shows as like my name, my Gmail.
Yeah, no, if you want to do that, certainly that's even better.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, good luck.
Thanks.
Next.
Hello, Professor. I have a small question.
Hi, what's up?
Regarding
So signing, we chose to do the movie API. So when we post a review, I was trying to do it so that each post is linked to a specific user. And so that user can only delete the posts that user makes. Because currently, like, if anyone logs in, can delete any reviews that are posted on the review board, right? So what I've done so far is so when I create a post, I call the get profile. I get the username and use that username on the profile. And then on the reducer, I thought this would work. So I do state that username equals action post that username. If it's equal, then we're allowed to, if the usernames match, we're allowed to delete the posts. But this logic is not correct.
State username. Well, I mean, I don't know if it could be a whole bunch of different things, right? It could be that you're not saying the state username correctly, or that that post username is not correct. I mean, I don't know. And then the delete looks right, where you filter out the ID.
Yeah, because I try using also the use stay hook to get the profile and retrieve the username that way, but for some reason I'm not allowed to use it in a reducer.
So this should happen. The way you should handle this is you send I imagine you have a delete on the server as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So all this should be happening on the server side. And so the delete, I'm guessing you can log in as the current user.
Yes.
Yeah. So the session knows who the current user is, right? It's in the session, in the profile, whatever, right? So what in your delete, when you send the delete to the server should check to see who's currently logged in, and it should check the ID of who created the post, and should check to see if they're the same. If they're the same, then it should go ahead and delete it, and then come back with a 200 status, meaning, yeah, everything's good. And then you can come here and just delete it without checking anything, right? But if the server identifies that the creator of the post is not the same as the currently logged in user, then it should return a 403, right? So that 403 should be handled in the catch, which does not notify the reducer, right? And so it does not dispatch a delete post. So it's never removed from the reducer. You understand that?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
All right. I'll take a look at it then. Thank you.
Good luck. Next. Elliot, Brian. Jacqueline. Or Khalid. Hello?
Hey, Professor.
Hi, what's up?
So I was actually wondering if we could speak in private.
Sure. Brian, you still there? Jacqueline, you there?
I could just call you separately. I think they might have put the meeting on the side and maybe left. I'm not sure.
Maybe. Brian, there? Okay, let me see if I could. Yeah, maybe they left. I don't know. Let me. Please make those assign. Let me put them in waiting room. Okay, they're not here. What's up?
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for taking out the time, Professor. I know it's pretty late. It's been quite a session. I actually wanted to speak with you because I was actually going through some trouble. It's a lot of the things that happened, it really didn't, I kind of feel like I should share because, without context, I don't think, it's possible for anyone to understand. But at the beginning of kind of in, November, I think, beginning of November, that's kind of when it really all started to happen. So I actually, me and my family, we have been facing some financial difficulties. And so unfortunately at that time, I was having to, it wasn't like in a battle of a sort. And it was like basically an eviction battle so it was, my landlord basically did not want me to be in the housing that I was in, and that kind of caused a lot of hardship. I was still, I kind of was still pushing through it. I was, I'm taking another class. I'm taking algorithms with Professor Pavlu. And you know how difficult that course can be. I think I'm not sure if you teach it as well, but that is another course that I was taking. And I have been able to keep up with all my homeworks and everything. Unfortunately, because the trouble that I was having is that I wasn't able to get my midterm completed at that time. And as the semester just went on, I try to stay current and get all of my assignments completed, and just trying to, personally, I was, with the eviction battle and everything. So I actually had to move out, and I had to fly back home. I was working from Bangladesh, so my family's from Bangladesh, and I actually was there. We're kind of come from a poor background, and the place where we live is kind of not always the cleanest. So I did catch dengue as well. I was dealing with that for a few weeks, and just relocation, dengue, and things kind of got out of hand. And I have been in touch with advisors just to see what I could do, and obviously I wanted to speak with you as well about what I could do.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Hello? Hello?